Hi, Scorpio. Welcome back to Leigh's Intuitive Tarot. So for today, we are going to take a look at what's going on with you and your person, okay? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to book a personal reading, there is an email address in the description box below, okay? Let's go ahead and get started. We're going to see what's going on in your love life. So let's... All right. Okay, so the card that Spirit gave you is Surrender to Success. Let me let you look at it, then I'll read it. It says, you are ready to experience abundance. Don't look back at previous roadblocks or difficulties. Leap into an exciting new world of possibilities. So you're going through or have gone through a portal, okay, because you see it right here. All right, so this is just talking about, a lot of you have been working on yourself. And I feel like you've learned to love yourself more, and you've learned how to step into the energy of abundance. Okay. And so now you're standing at the doorway that's going to take you to what it is that you want. So don't let fear or, the fear of the unknown stop you from stepping into that portal, because this portal is where you're supposed to be. This success is what you're, I want to say owed, what you're owed from even though people say life doesn't owe you anything, but we all have charts that were written out before we get here. I firmly believe that. And with this surrender to success, this is something that I feel like was put into your chart. And so you've gone through all these bumps and bruises in order to get here. So don't let your fear of being successful stop you from stepping through this portal. Okay. All right. Let's see what's going on with you and your person. So Scorpio spirit, what's going on between them and their person? Okay. Card for Scorpio. Card for their person. The energy between them. And the outcome. Okay. Okay. I know I'm smiling, Scorpio. I can see the cards and you can't yet, but you're about to find out why I'm smiling. Okay. So the overall energy we have here is the Hangman. This is Pisces energy. I feel like this is talking about like you letting go of things that no longer serve you. Okay. Even if it is certain aspects of this connection. Okay. This is also, like I said, you're about to go through this doorway, this portal, or you've already gone through it, because everybody's going to be at a different point in this reading. So I feel like, you may be feeling like you're stuck at this time, but I don't feel like that's what this is. I feel like it's a cocoon. It's something it's like you're the caterpillar going into the cocoon to come out as a butterfly. And in order to do that, you've got to let go of things that have been holding you back in this lifetime. Okay. All right. Okay. Underneath this, we've got the Seven of Swords. This can talk about, strategy, but it can also speak of betrayal. You may have felt like this person betrayed you in your connection. Okay. That they may have gotten away with something. But remember, I always tell y'all in tarot, that's why I tell you, don't go after anybody. Don't try to get revenge, because whatever has been done will be avenged. Anybody messes with you and you're doing the right thing, they're going to get theirs. Okay. And a lot of times you'll find out about it. Either you'll see it happen or someone will tell you about it or something like that. Okay. Let me tell you the story. This story is coming up to me, and I guess Spirit is wanting me to let you know about it. Okay. Years ago, I worked at this hotel in North Carolina. It was a well-known hotel. A lot of celebrities lived there. I mean, not lived there, but visited there. And I worked in the reservation section, right? So I had a boss that was very much not a nice person. Okay. And so this person like would pick on me and bully me and do all these things. And they pretty much made my life at that place a living hell. Right. So it progressed to the point to where I just got so sick of it to where one day I just packed up all my stuff and I walked out and I never came back. So this person, what they were doing to me, they had done to several other people, from what I heard around the people that worked in that same office that I'd spoken to. She'd done this woman had done this over and over again to a lot of different people, right? So one day I kept in touch. There was a lady that worked there in that same section, but she worked in that office, but she wasn't in the same section that I worked in. Anyway, she and I were very close. We had gotten very close while I worked there, and we kept in touch. So I remember one day she calls me and she says, "You remember such and such?" Talking about my boss. She says, what ended up happening, to make a long story short, was she ended up messing with, there was a new person that had came in. My boss had another boss that had been there for years and that kind of like protected her. But this person left and another boss had come in, and that boss was the one that was there when I decided to leave. Because of that new boss, the new boss had different rules and different things like that. So what ended up happening was my boss ended up getting walked out. And that's like a very embarrassing thing, because it's like everybody knows you lost your job. Everybody knows you got fired. Everybody knows, because even though it was a hotel, a lot of people knew about it. It also was a situation where, it was like a little town. Like everybody knew what was going on with everybody else. So she ended up getting majorly embarrassed and walked out of her job. And she was in a position that was pretty much a pretty big position at that hotel. So I'm telling you this, I'm saying all this to say that even if you don't directly have anything to do with it, when the person or the people that mistreat you gets theirs, even if you're not there to see it, you're going to hear about it. Spirit's going to make sure that you know that you got your justice. Okay? Because what happened to her was the most embarrassing thing you could ever have happen to you at that hotel, because everybody knows about it. It's not just, the people, your boss and the people in your office and the people that work around you. It's everybody. It gets around to everybody. Okay. So let's keep moving forward. So we've got the King of Swords here. You could be dealing with a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius with this King of Swords, or you could have those placements in your chart, or your person may have. This is someone who's very independent, someone who is they're okay. They may be a single. They may have been someone who was a single person, not in a relationship. They're someone who is very happy, very okay, or was very happy and very okay with the way that their life was. They may have been a little bit of a playboy or playgirl. They may have played the field, dated around, all these types of things. And with the King of Swords, this is someone that has very high standards. I feel like you and this person, meshed with each other, not just on an emotional level, but on a physical and mental level as well. Because the King of Swords are, it's air, it's about the mind. And so I feel like, with this card, this was just somebody who inspired you. This is someone who, how can I explain it? They inspired you to be like the best person you could be, because they had a lot of really extreme and really good goals. Okay. Under this, we've got the Judgment card. This is Scorpio energy, of course, and this is talking about a second chance. So I feel like both of you want to have a second chance with each other. You're very possessive of each other, okay? But you're also holding back emotionally, okay? And I know that once we get hurt, because I'm a Scorpio too, we tend to hold back our emotions. We're not going to let you continue to hurt us over and over again, okay? So we've also got the Page of Swords. So you're watching your person by watching this tarot card video. You could be doing other things. Your person is also watching you as well. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and clarify the Hangman. Okay. Yeah. See, Scorpios, this is how we love. See, we get a bad rap and people want to say all kind of stuff about Scorpios, but what they don't understand is, I always talk about that. If you've ever seen Rambo, the first Rambo with Sylvester Stallone, he always talks about at the end of the movie, after he like flipped out on all the people and did the stuff that he did, they asked him why he did it. And he was like, well, you were the one that drew first blood. It wasn't me. And so I feel like that's the thing with us. We're like this. Once you're in with us, you're good. You're good with us, and we love you unconditionally, and we'll have your back. But once you draw first blood, it's on. And so I feel like that's the essence of what a lot of Scorpios are, at least to me, being a Scorpio as long as I've been one. Okay, your person is very self-critical. They second guess themselves. This is talking about unreasonable expectations, exaggerates the negatives, extremely judgmental of self. So let me say this. I feel like this King of Swords can represent your person. Your person may be in the military. They could be a cop or something like that, because or work in the government with this King of Swords energy. But with this self-critical card, I feel like, this is why they're like this. People that are very, I'm not going to, stern is the word that comes to mind, but I guess they can have a tendency to be stern in certain situations. People who are like this, who may come off like they're hard on other people, they're even harder on themselves. Okay. All right. All right. So when we get to the card that fell for you, we've got the Temperance card. This is Sagittarius energy. Okay. This is talking about balance. So it's also talking, moderation, the same thing. It's saying, you and this person, you've got a connection. You are twin flames. You're also soulmates because you're from the same soul family. So, because this is a soulmate card. So with this card, I feel like this is you learning how to balance yourself, how to love unconditionally, and also not lose yourself in a relationship, and still be independent, but be able to love unconditionally. Okay, let's clarify. All right. Okay, so you've been isolating yourself. Okay, I feel like, I don't know about you, but me as a Scorpio, I'm a wound licker. I always say that I'm a wound licker. Like if I get hurt, I got to go off to myself for a little while and take care of myself, and then I can come back out into the world. And I feel like that may be what you're doing. I feel like what happened between you and this person was a shock to the system, and you're trying to scramble and put yourself back together. But I feel like it's easier this time than it has been, because I feel like you've been working on yourself. Okay. All right. When it comes to your person, we've got the Five of Pentacles. So they're feeling left out in the cold. You're not the only person that's feeling a certain way about what happened between the two of you. They are as well. I feel like they're feeling it worse than you are. Okay. All right. Let's clarify. So like I said, there may have been ghosting that occurred. Okay. And feeling left out in the cold. But your person wants to take a chance. Okay. They want to take a leap of faith. They're ready to come back towards you, and they're not wanting to miss out on this opportunity, because I feel like the two of you had a false start, that maybe you came together, right? And there was a knowing that this connection wasn't like your normal and regular connection, right? Where you just like somebody or whatever. And I feel like whatever happened between the two of you, one person walked away. So either, they weren't giving what they needed to give you, and you were like, F this, and you were gone. And then now they're feeling left out in the cold, or it could be a situation of where they may have ghosted you too. Okay. All right. But this is a twin flame connection, because look at the energy between the both of you. Four of Wands. This is my twin flame card. Whenever this shows up, that spirit telling me that this is a twin flame connection. Okay. So this is talking about, both of you feeling like home with each other. This person wants to marry you. They want to have a long-term committed relationship with you. And I feel like you want to have the same thing with them. But there's some things that are going to have to occur first in order for this to happen. Let's clarify. Four of Wands. Okay, see, this is your person's card. they realize that you are their divine feminine. They know something is going on. They may not know exactly the term twin flame, or that, what's going on with y'all, but they know that this is a spiritual connection. They know that you feel like home to them. Okay. When it comes to you, this is talking about you being in a passive situation. So I feel like you may have just walked away from this and you're like, I'm not addressing it. I'm not going to deal with it. They're going to have to come to me. Okay. So it says avoiding direct or clear communication, a fear of intimacy or competition, making excuses, blaming others, playing the victim, hiding anger. But okay, I know you're angry if you're off somewhere licking your wounds, right? And especially if the other person drew first blood. I know you're angry, but you have to deal with this, because a lot of times the anger and the hurt feelings that we have, it covers up the true feelings that are underneath. Okay. And once you deal with this, all of that anger and hurt will slide off, and you'll be able to feel what you're really feeling, what you're supposed to feel. Okay. All right. When it comes to the outcome, we've got the 6 of Wands. So this is talking about success. So you and this person have an amazing chance to come back together and to work things out. But you got to be willing to let them in and open yourself up to this, Scorpio, because we talk about this all the time. I know you're very sensitive. This is one Scorpio to another. I know you're very sensitive. I know you don't like for people to play with your feelings. But one thing you have to understand, if you're going to be in a relationship with someone, I'm not saying allow someone to play with your feelings, but what you got to understand is anytime you're in something with someone else, it doesn't have to be romantic. It can be platonic. It can be a family relationship. You are going to have your toes stepped on sometimes. Okay. And a lot of times it's not intentional. Okay. It's because the other person is doing the best that they can. But this is why, you have to learn how to set boundaries so that they know what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And then this is a twin flame connection. All of this is orchestrated. What is going on here has to happen in order for you to step into who you truly are, and for them to step into who they truly are as well, and for the two of you to have a chance to come back together. But let me tell you this, if you feel like this person has hurt you beyond, what you deem acceptable, and you decide that you don't want to be in a connection with them, you don't have to be. Okay. All right. So 6 of Wands, this can talk about your dream lover coming into your life. Okay. It's not just about success and recognition. So some of you may end up being in the spotlight, end up being in the limelight, being very successful in whatever it is that you choose to do. But like I said, it is also about your dream lover coming into your life. So for some of you, if this person doesn't get it together, or if you decide you don't want to be with them, there will be someone else that comes in, and you'll have a choice between your twin and the other person. Okay, let's clarify. Six of Wands, please. All right. Oof. Okay, so we've got, yeah. See, like I told you, y'all are in separation. I already know what's going on. I already know what's going on, because I've been reading this for years. So the two of you are in separation. Something happened between the two of you, and nobody wants to take the first step to go towards the other person. But like I said, in order, even if you want to move on with somebody else, Scorpio, you got to deal with these feelings, okay? Because these triggers and these things are coming up so that you can deal with them. Because if you don't deal with them, even if you get into a relationship with someone else, these things are going to come up again, okay? And they're going to hinder you from having the love and the life that you both deserve and desire. Okay. Okay. So we've got the cowardice card. Your person is afraid. And if I was, let me be honest, I'm not laughing at the situation. I'm laughing at what I'm about to say. If I was someone else who was dealing with a Scorpio, okay, and not being a Scorpio, I was dealing with somebody else who was a Scorpio, and I had screwed them over or effed them over or did something to them, I would be afraid too. Okay, I'm just being honest about that. Cause look at the card, look at his face. I know this situation is not funny. I know it's not, and I'm not laughing at what is happening between the two of y'all. I'm laughing at this card, and I'm laughing at being on the other side of us, how I would feel if it was me. Okay, so it says cowardice, no courage, afraid to tell the truth, afraid to do the right thing. This person, I feel like, is going to come around. They're like this in this energy right now, but I feel like it's because they have to come to terms with what is happening. Okay. You have to understand that for us, because we're intuitive, we're psychics, a lot of us are empaths. We are used to dealing with energies. Okay. But this person is very logical. They rely on logic. I'm not saying they don't have emotions or that they don't deal with emotions, but I feel like emotional suppression is how they deal with a lot of things. They could drink. They may have they could take substances and things like that to shove down their feelings because they don't want to deal with them or because it feels foreign to them. Because you got to think about this. Think about how you felt when you got into this connection and you started to feel something for somebody that you didn't even know. You didn't even know very well. Okay. We're used to dealing with energies and things like that. But for someone that doesn't deal with stuff like that, to have that, they probably felt like they got hit over the head, and didn't know what to do. And so all these things that are happening between the two of you, I know, they hurt your feelings and things fell apart, but they are suffering just like you. Whatever you're feeling, they're probably feeling it times 10 because they're not used to this. And it's not for the weak. I always say that a twin flame connection is not for the weak. Okay. But you are a Scorpio and you can step up to the challenge and you can deal with it because it's opening you up and putting you on the path that you're supposed to be on. You agreed to do this before you came here. Like I said, I'm going to do a video that goes in depth into this and I'm going to explain to y'all. I'm going to use my twin flame connection to tell you about it. Okay. Because it's, that's why I read for y'all, because I understand what you're going through. Because people, you feel like you can't talk to anybody about this. You like me, I'm an empath. I'm a clairaudient, and I got a lot of clairs, but the biggest one, the strongest one, is the clairaudient. So I hear a lot of things. I hear messages that are coming from my person that can only come from them. And this is not a conversation you can have with everybody. So that's why I realize that it is very important that I come here and talk to y'all about this, and that you have someone who understands what you're going through so that you can deal with this, because I know it's not easy. Okay. So that's why I apologize to y'all for being gone as long as as long as I did. I had a death in the family and it really, really devastated me. It was like one of the most important people in my life passed away and I had to deal. See, you see me getting upset. And so I had to be able to deal with that. I couldn't help you and try, and work with spirit to guide you if I wasn't okay. Okay. But I'm here now. I'm back. I'm going to do everything in my power to not go away again. I'm here to be here for y'all, to read for y'all, to help y'all. Okay. But like I said, you can get through this, Scorpio. If you do the healing on yourself, it will get easier. If you focus on yourself, it will get easier. Don't worry about your other person. This person is going to come back. Okay. And depending on where you are at that time when they show up, you're going to have a choice anyway, either way. So if you don't want to be with this person, you don't have to be with them. But you have to realize that the hurt you caused them and the hurt they caused you, it was supposed to happen. It had to happen that way for you to be on the path that you're now currently on, where you're going towards abundance and you're stepping through the doorway to success. You had to be able to open yourself up to certain energies in order for that to happen. And this person was a catalyst for that. Okay. All right. So let's get some messages from your person. And see what they want to tell you. All right. So we've got, when you touch me, I feel butterflies in my stomach. That's so sweet. And then we've got, I'm working hard on my finances for you, for us, for our future. So I feel like this person is like drowning themselves in work, right? They're trying to focus on anything else but what's going on between the two of you. And I feel like you may be doing that as well. You've isolated yourself. You are trying to heal from what has happened between the two of you. But like I said, I know you feel the love. And like I said, when you deal with your feelings, all of that stuff's going to slide off and the feelings are going to come forward. But continue to focus on yourself. Okay. Focus on your doorway to success. Focus on you surrendering to success and knowing that this is what you deserve. This is your birthright to have this success. Okay. All right. We're going to get pick one more deck and get some more messages, and then I'll let you go. It's for Scorpio spirit. I'm sorry. I'm still laughing at that cowardice card. Every time I see it, it just makes me laugh. But like I said, if I was dealing with a Scorpio, I probably would be scared too. Because we ain't what you want when you piss us off. So, okay. So we've got, I sabotaged this connection and I regret it. So your person knows. They know exactly what has happened. They've had time to sit back and think about the situation too. Just because they're trying to stick their head in the sand and act like nothing is going on and focus on work and stuff like that, it's still, I feel like at night, this person lays in the bed because you can't completely stop focusing on something all the time. You're going to have downtime. You can't work 24 hours a day. You can't, focus on other things 24 hours a day. Your mind, your thoughts, your feelings are always going to find you. And that's why I'm telling you to deal with your feelings, because you're not going to be able to get rid of them, until you deal with them. Shoving them down and suppressing them is only going to make things worse. Okay. Okay. Then we've got, I remember how we used to laugh and talk for hours about everything. I miss you. Okay. So this person is missing you. I'm trying to be someone you can trust. Okay. So like I said, they've got some things to deal with. Okay. You have some things to deal with too. It's like the both of you are leveling up so that you can come back together and have the chance to be together if that's what you're wanting. Okay. The last card, I still love you and I can't stop thinking about you. See what I told you? This person, I feel like that's why I feel like that, was it in here? Yeah. But I feel like, whatever they did to you at night when they're laying in the bed at night, or whatever it is that they're doing, I feel like it's just turning around and around in their head. So don't think that they're not getting theirs, because they are. But like I said, all of this stuff is being divinely orchestrated by spirit. Spirit is putting the two of you together and making certain things, happen so that the two of you can level up. Okay. And you can decide if you want to be with them or not. All right. So I hope this helped you, Scorpio. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to book a personal reading, there is an email address in the description box below. Please have a good day, a good week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, Scorpio.